We're getting closer and closer to kickoff. This week, we are talking about arguably one of the best divisions in football. Hit that subscribe button. It's time to talk 2021 NFC West. It's nickel and dime. Shawn, how you doing, buddy? We are back.
I'm doing good, man. It's good to be with you. This every week thing is starting to ramp up, so I'm loving the way it's feeling, man. Keeps me on my toes every week. You know what I'm saying? Keeps me on my toes. Got to do it.
Exactly. And every episode, every week, we get closer to actual football again.
Yep. Man, it's crazy, Drew. But like, I'm kind of really excited about the preseason, man. Like, I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe it's because we didn't get one last year, and then, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's about to be football again. I don't know.
You don't know what you're missing till it's gone, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. Yep. Definitely. Just bring it back, man. Just go on, bring it back in our lives. That's what we want from you.
I mean, I'm tempted to watch Hard Knocks just because it's football, you know?
But the Cowboys, though, Drew. It's the Cowboys, though.
I know.
I wish it was. I mean, it's literally 31 other teams I probably would rather watch than the Cowboys. I'll be honest with you. As far as what is Hard Knocks is delivering me.
Are they, like, if you were filling out a survey and you ranked all 32 teams, would they be dead last?
Right. Probably not, just because of Cowboys fans. But if you excluded Cowboys fans and took every other team's fan base about which team they would want to see, I think the data would show that the Cowboys would be in the bottom 5. Yes. Doing a little math for you guys on this show. Did you know that this was you was going to get this week? Come on, baby.
You know what's funny is I think the Cowboys would end up in the bottom if you took a survey of all the NFL fans. But you know what's funny is people love to hate the Cowboys just blindly, just hate. But I think the Patriots wouldn't be so low on the ranking, because even while people hate the Patriots, they're still intrigued by them, and they still want to, see what Bill Belichick's doing in camp and all that stuff. So it's funny that they're both hated probably the same, but we'd want to watch one and not watch the other.
It's about intrigue, and I think what you get in the Cowboys is just like it's been force-fed to you for so long that like we're still tired of it. Like we don't even know we're tired of it, and we're tired of it. Whereas with the Patriots, you haven't had as much access, so to speak, especially in that Belichick regime. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, people want to see what's in Charlotte, what's in the chocolate factory there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we got some great teams that I can't wait to talk about, because I've got them. Little spoiler alert, I got them all having above 500 seasons. So before we get into it, we got a little housekeeping notes.
Yeah, let's get to it, because I love the little tidbits you drop, a little spicy tidbit for the rest of the show. I love that. Yeah.
Sprinkle some tidbits on them. Let's get out of here.
Right.
Jeremy Fowler stirring up some stiff with this, with all these rankings has been dropping. We talked about the quarterback one last week with Prescott and Stafford. He recently dropped the wide receiver top 5. He had Davonte Adams as the number 1 wide receiver. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I can see it in some people's eyes, but okay. So who rounded out his top 5, and then that'll give me a clearer picture. Who rounded out the top 5?
All right, number 2, DeAndre Hopkins. Number 3, Stephon Diggs. Number 4, Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
And number 5, Julio Jones.
So for me, I gotta put D-Hop number 1. Davonte is way too high on that. D-Hop has had way more sustained success than Davonte Adams. And me and you talked about this in talking about Davonte Adams last season on the Nickel and Dime Football Show, but like he has not had that many 1,000-yard seasons. He's just now recently become of age in the last 3, maybe 4 years. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe that. So he
got a big question mark this year.
He's
too.
dynamic. Right. And honestly, if you asking me, I'm not trying to be a hater, but you got to take Tyreek Hill out of the top 5. I'm sorry. Like, he is not a top 5 receiver for me. Julio Jones is definitely in the top 5. And for me, I got to put Mike Evans in the top 5 somewhere. Whether he's 4 or 5, and OBJ to me when healthy as well. So I don't know that Davonte cracks he might be 5 for me, Davonte.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Like if we're saying my number 1 receivers, I'll give it to DeAndre.
Right.
Hopkins.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah.
Tell the people. 2's DJ Moore. 3's Robbie Anderson. 4,
Wait. Wait. What is?
I'm just playing.
I was like, did he say DJ Moore? And then when you said the third name, I was like, oh, I see what you did there. I was about to be like, cut. I was just about to cut it right now. Cut it.
Oh man. Well, how do you feel about this? We've been saying Kelsey wrong. It's Kels. Travis Kelce.
Kels?
And is his brother Jason?
Man, Kels. Nah. I feel like it's too far gone now, man. Like he has become a superstar in Road to Kelsey train, and just now saying this, just now dropping this news.
Now it's a problem.
You missed your window, bro. You missed your window. Yeah.
No, he even was it just came up in an interview. He was like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? He's like, it's been Travis Kelce for so long. Like, whatever.
Yeah. It is what it is. At least he a good sport about it, though. You know what I
mean? Yeah. The Bucks are gonna go visit the White House. Is your boy gonna wear his red hat?
Probably not, because Tom don't do nothing to mess up that image. That was honestly, I think looking back on it, he realizes that was a snafu that hurt the brand a little bit. So Tommy gonna show up to that White House. I'm pretty sure. First team to go to the White House in 3 years, baby. First team to go to the White House in the 3 years, and what a time! What a time! I'm very excited about it.
What a time! Well, good. Well, what a time, what a career. Mr. Ted Ginn is retiring after 14 years in the league, so hats off to him. He was very fun to watch, very entertaining.
Salute.
Could
definitely
take it to the house at any given moment.
Yeah. He had I want to say he retired with 33 touchdowns. I saw when I was reading the article the other day, and I could have swore he had a lot more than that. As a receiver, and stuff like that. But very dynamic. Obviously, his services were well needed, playing 13, 14 seasons, however many it was. And
just so fast.
It wasn't very productive, but you needed him on the field. So shout to him.
All right. Steelers add edge rusher Melvin Ingram from the Chargers, trying to replace Bud Dupree leaving town.
Oh, that must have been super new, because last I saw, it was just trending on Twitter. And they had him in for a visit or whatever, so he must have signed. Another piece to that defense, maybe for as much as they lost or continue to lose on offense, especially on the offensive line, their defense should be retooled. And I'm very interested to see how that plays out for them come 2021 season. So
looks like the season rests on the arm of Big Ben.
Yeah, Big Ben and the receivers, but is he going to be able to deliver the ball is the question. That's the better question.
It's a big question.
Yeah.
Well, the Manning Bros, did you see they are getting their alternate Monday Night Football broadcast? They're going to have celebrities and fun locations.
Oh, snap. All right. I mean, Peyton parlaying that career, man, really doing this TV thing, man. I like it.
Yeah, I hate them both.
How can you hate Peyton Manning? After that SNL
Peyton Manning.
After that SNL skit, There is nobody who can hate Peyton Manning. What is wrong with you?
Peyton Manning.
What is wrong with you?
I will refresh this. I did this on another podcast years ago. I just want you to know that the challenge is still out there. I can run a faster 40-yard dash time than Peyton Manning.
Right now?
Today. Right now.
All right. I want to see it. If you ever see that, man, like, it might be weird, but, like, I feel like it would actually probably happen because you go up to him. You don't really say anything. Like, you're not like, hey, let me get a pic. Let me get your autograph. You're like, 40-yard dash right now. I feel like he's bound to respond to that, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he's bound to respond to that. So you might get your wish, Drew.
I mean, it needs to happen. I need to put this man on blast. I got 50. The man shouldn't have won the Super Bowl with the Broncos. All right. That's what I'm pissed about.
Oh, yeah, that's right. See, now it comes full circle, man. There's extra factors that contributed to this decision, folks.
To be fair, I hated that dude beforehand, but that just elevated it.
Yeah,
he
got another bowl ring.
He just reminds me of every kid we played with on rec basketball or baseball or football that just tried a little too hard to be the coach's friend and had no athletic ability but was fundamentally sound, and he got playing time over other people. That's that,
Drew. I mean, like, you know, if you got some things you want to talk about, man, we can do it. We can definitely talk about it. If it hurt, man, just let it out. This is just let it out.
I hate him.
This is a safe space.
No.
This is a safe space.
No, it should be entertaining, man. The two brothers have pretty good chemistry together. It'll be fun to check
it should be. Yeah.
All right, that's it. That's it for housekeeping, man. Let's get into these teams. We got the NFC West division today, and man, going over these teams, I'm not gonna lie to you. These rosters look great. The schedules do not look that tough. I think this is going to be a very fun division to watch.
Okay, I honestly agree with you, and I think that bombshell that you dropped earlier is, you know, it ain't crazy. It's not a crazy thing, but you know, I think they could get maybe as many as 3 teams in. 4, I guess we'll see. We'll see. Maybe you can talk me into it.
The NFC's headed towards a down year in all the other divisions. You know what I mean? So I know it's super hard to get a whole division into the playoffs. Like, what are we talking about? A whole division. Yeah. But, I mean...
It could happen. Like, and that's the thing is, like, there's so much that has to play out. And I think what people are looking at as far as the elevation is because you got Green Bay that may potentially not be in the playoffs without Aaron Rodgers, and New Orleans. I mean, I think if there's a drop-off from 2 teams that were in the playoffs, people expect it to be them. Maybe we're going to talk about it. We got to break it all down. We have to break it all down for you, the people. So let's get into it, Drew.
All right, well, let's start with the San Francisco 49ers. Had a little down year last year, got bitten by the injury bug, went 6-10, missed the playoffs, but bounced back pretty good in the offseason, some might say. Yeah. Just getting healthy is a bounce back for them. You know what I mean? Like, just getting healthy. So, and they got the 3rd overall pick, so that helps. You know what I mean? Yeah, which definitely boded well. I mean, like, they had to make some moves to get that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had to move up. They had to give some things up. But as far as their draft, like, getting into it, man, I think it will always be largely looked at as the Trey Lance draft. So this draft goes as he goes. So if he turns out to be a great pick, best draft, you know. But if he doesn't, not only that, but it's going to exacerbate them making those moves. Like, it could make it look really bad. So we'll see. He's got to get on the field. Do you think? We got to wait till we get to the offense. But you know what else I love? I did love that they came back in round 3 and got Trey Sermon, Drew. I'm excited about seeing him on the field, man. I think I think he's going to fit right in a 49ers uniform. And you know they love running back committee. So I think he's going to fit in just fine.
Well, and the crazy thing about that is, like, people felt even in the third round, because Trey Sermon was falling. Like, people thought he was going to go higher than that. So it was really kind of a luxury pick for them, and people thought that maybe it was a waste of a pick. Some people, because they already have Mostert coming back from injury. They already have another dynamic
picked up Gallman.
rusher. That's what I'm saying.
They picked up Wayne Gallman.
They picked up Wayne Gallman as the third running back. So, like, now you add in the Trey Sermon. If anybody can figure it out, I mean, that San Francisco rushing game has been great. You know what I'm saying? When they've been healthy. So, I really loved to see that. So,
well, let's talk about this offense. They picked up center Alex Mack, returning Kittle, getting Garoppolo healthy, hopefully. And we just talked about it, that running back core with Mostert, Sermon, Gallman, and Wilson Jr.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It is. It's definitely a pretty good running back stable room. And that's the thing is, like, I think that would be a great running back room without this Shanahan scheme. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you're adding the Shanahan scheme with this running back room, as you've seen the last couple of years, this is what you're bound to get. You're bound to get production. So, I think it's just a win. The crazy thing about the offense is, and Drew, we have to address the question: is Jimmy Garoppolo going to start? How many games does he play? Or is it Trey Lance from the outset? You know what I mean? Like, which one do you think it's going to be? Because that's going to determine the offense.
I think it's got to be Garoppolo at least to start. You know what I mean? Because I think they definitely took Trey Lance based off of potential, not necessarily what he had today. You know what I mean? So, like, I definitely think he sees the field if some things go weird, but I think it's Garoppolo's job to lose, at least to start. Yeah.
Now, and of course, his play is going to determine whether or not they, accelerate Lance. But also at the same time, there's even talk from the brass in the building. I want to say Shanahan is like, this guy can play right now if we need him to play. So that kind of muddies the waters a little bit in my eyes.
That's fair. I mean, they could completely just come out day one and throw Lance out there and be like, we took him third. Yep. This is our guy. You don't you don't spend that high of a draft pick to bench somebody. You know what I mean? Yep. So I can very well see him being day one,
Well, and not only that, but we have to address, talk about the receivers, because you got Brandon Ayuk coming back off injury. You got Deebo Samuel. Now you add in a Mohamed Sanu, Drew. Maybe if you get in the Sanu of old, you know what I mean?
He's been bounced around lately, so I hope he can find he can land here. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what I mean. It would be a good plus for them because he basically, in my eyes, like, they have Richie James there, but I would take a more prime Sanu over that man in my eyes. And then we have to, I'm adding Kittle to that catcher group, so it's not really the receivers and him.
He gets receiver numbers,
Right.
So.
Still got the boy use check.
I was about to say, you got the Swiss Army knife. Use check.
Yep.
Just ready.
Yeah.
Those little check downs, he's going to get you 20 yards.
So that's what I'm saying. So, you add as many positives as this offense has. Now, the offensive line is just as good. So this offensive line looks to be top tier. Adding in Trent Williams, having all these guys come back in that Shanahan scheme. And the scheme is going to make this team. But, again, it all comes down to me on this quarterback play, as it does with most teams. But, this team can have Super Bowl aspirations if the quarterback position is right. You know what I mean?
Well, who you picking right now? Who's your betting favorite? Who's week one starter in San Fran?
Asking the tough questions. I gotta go with my head on this one, and my head says Garoppolo, but I guess you got to see it play out. But I'm having a short leash for him, because if Lance is at least at Garoppolo's level now, I'm throwing him in there, because he can give me more than that. You know what I'm saying? So maybe 3 games for me. If I don't see enough out of Garoppolo in 3 games, I want to go to the Super Bowl. I don't want to middle around, wind up missing the playoffs. I at least want to make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Give myself a chance to win.
This is a really good football team.
It is. And we got to talk about that defense, Drew. I'll let you get into it.
And that D-line. That defensive line, man, you got people like Armstead and Ford and Kinlaw and Bosa.
Yeah. And Ford and Bosa coming back off injury, like, you know what I'm saying? So, what I love, not only do they have that front four, Drew, but like you got to talk about the front seven, because that linebacking core,
Fred Warner,
led by Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, up and coming player. That dude is a monster in itself. And then you get Ibukam over from the Rams a couple years ago.
I'm glad
paid
you said
him a little bit of
first.
money. It still messed it up. But yeah, so like that front seven, bro, and then
they got Jimmy Ward in the safety spot. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
And then Jaquiski
it's
Tartt.
a great defense.
It is. So I don't know. I guess if injuries, I'll say this: if injuries don't plague this team this year, they should be a Super Bowl contending team, as long as the quarterback is right. It's got to be right.
It's a big old question, though.
It is.
Come
It's
and
the
go
hugest
at
question.
quarterback.
It's the biggest question that you could have for a team. But I think, like just mentioning before we get into the schedule, the back four. I think the front seven will definitely help the back four to make this a complete team. So I don't know, Drew. What you thinking for the schedule though, bro?
Well, I last week we talked about the AFC South, and every game I felt like was a brutal game for everybody in that division, like because their schedule was so tough.
Right.
I looked at these guys' schedule, and wow, what a softball toss that the league gave to them. Easy 3 games to start. If they get everyone back on the field, man, they got Tennessee week 16. That should be a pretty good game. I'm excited about that. Just for the sake of all of these records and all of this guessing and predicting that we're doing,
Right.
I'm going to go ahead and assume, since this division is this division, I just went ahead and gave them all 500 for within the division.
It was I can really appreciate that, because I had a hard time separating what was going to happen in a division versus what was going to happen, versus everybody else.
Yeah. So I got them going 11-6.
Oh, 11-6. I got them going 11-6.
go.
Yeah, I got them going 11-6.
There we go.
That's yeah. And it's just, it was really hard to predict. Let's just put it that way. What's going to happen in this division. Yeah. So just to give you my side of it, I had 2 teams going 3-3, and then one team going 4-2, and then the other one going 2-4. If that's a little peek behind the curtain there. So
which one was San Fran?
I think San Fran, looking at the roster, was 4-2. Yeah.
Oh, you gave them the heads up in the division.
I gave them the heads up in the division. Yeah. So that's my division winner right there. There you go. Yeah.
All right. Next up, we got a very interesting team. Added some veterans to their young core in the offseason. We got the Arizona Cardinals.
Got them Cardinals, man. Got them Cardinals.
They went 500 last year, 8-8. That last game they played when they were trying to get Kyler back on the field, and it was just brutal to watch. It was brutal. So
yeah. They
had some injuries bite them as well.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know what to do with the Cardinals. Still to this, I mean, we felt that way. we felt that way.
We avoided picking them in our locks last year for a reason. All right, and It's not looking like they're going to make our job any easier this season.
No, they really don't. And I had a hard time with this team as well, because you just don't know what you're getting. And I think my breakdown of them kind of reflected that. So starting at the top, obviously they added some veterans. They added JJ, you know what I'm saying? Like that was a huge splash.
JJ
obviously.
and AJ.
JJ and AJ. And and of course we'll get into it a little bit when we break down the offensive defense, but as far as their draft, I liked all 3 of their top 3 picks. As far as that goes, they got Zaven Collins, the linebacker out of Tulsa, Rondell Moore. And once we get into the offense, I'll talk about him a little bit more, but he is a dynamic playmaker. He's a smaller guy, but for what this
put
offense
him in the slot, man, it's going to be so good.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. So like for what this offense already has here, he is a second round pick who doesn't need to come in and be the guy. So that can only help. So I do like that. And then who's the third pick? Marco Wilson, out of cornerback out of Florida. So another solid pick there. So I liked all three of their picks, Drew.
Yeah, you like their draft. I liked their offseason. They brought in Watt, Green. They brought in a very interesting James Conner at running back.
Yeah.
Kind of excited to see him in an Arizona uniform.
Yeah.
They got
Pittsburgh.
Malcolm Butler, the corner. Brought in Matt Prater, saved him from Detroit. And they brought in Colt McCoy. A little veteran backup there in the quarterback room.
Okay, all right. Like that Matt Prater signing is probably going to be very underrated because, like, I just know Matt Prater for a big leg, and like usually in fantasy, I know if I need a kicker, he's solid. He's as solid as they come. You know what I'm saying? He's got a big leg.
He's been on my team many a time.
Yep. So I definitely stand for that pick. For that pickup. I guess talking about their draft, talking about their offseason, let's get into the offense, Drew. Go ahead.
They got a stout running back duo in Edmonds and Connor. I'm excited about that.
I am. I want to see what they do.
You can't just have one guy anymore in the league. You know what I mean? You can't just have a running back.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're a Derrick Henry, you know what I'm saying? But there's very few of him, you know what I mean, to go around. I do like that running back room. I wonder what the breakdown is going to be because I would imagine, like, if they brought in James Conner, it was more than to just push Chase Edmonds, though. You know what I mean? So I wonder what the split will be there. I got to talk, talking about Rondale Moore, I love the receiver room now because, like, if AJ Green can get back, Drew, then we're talking about adding him. Obviously, DeAndre, Christian Kirk, another dynamic receiver who is kind of underrated in my opinion. Now you add in the explosive playmaker in Rondale Moore, who can do all the gadget stuff as well as be a receiver. I like it.
And Kyler's got the arm. You know what I mean? He can get the ball down the field. We know that for sure.
Yeah. Now he can, but see, this is the problem though, Drew. Like, I hate to derail this train a little bit, but like, this is year 3 in this. It is year 3, right? With Kingsbury, and Kyler in this offense, and it hasn't been all roses. Like, it's been inconsistent. Is this the year that it can finally take off?
No excuses, because they get an off season. They get time together. Like last year, they're like, year 2, we didn't get to work together. And then Kyler got injured towards the end of the year. So, I mean, I'm willing to give them a little bit of a pass and see what they can cook up in the offseason because you got zero excuses now. You got A.J. Green, one of the best wide receivers in the past. You got Hopkins, one of the best current wide receivers. You got 2 speed demons in Kirk and Moore, and then you got 2 decent running backs you can hand the ball off to from a pretty good offensive line. So this is what we're going to see did Kyler Murray make the right decision in leaving baseball and being an NFL quarterback?
That's the question, and I love how, talking about Kyler needing to perform, there was some articles out there or something that I came across that Kyler hadn't put baseball to bed, so maybe, it might be, is he bowing out a little early? I don't know. Does he see the writing on the wall? I do want Kyler to be successful, but they have got you couldn't have put it any better, Drew. They have got to show this year what they're going to do because this division is not waiting for you. Like the other teams are strong. You know what I'm saying? So like
the division keeps getting better every year.
Yeah, and they've got some great coaches. I don't see the coaches going anywhere anytime soon. You know what I'm saying? So
no. Well, how do you feel about this veteran-led defense? They lost Peterson.
Yep.
They pick up Watt. They pick up Butler. How they got Simmons? One of their draft pick last year who showed flashes of greatness. That put Collins with him, and then they got Jones on the other side of Watt. Like it's looking like a pretty good defense.
It can be, and what I want to know is, and I think, of course, JJ is ready to show you, but like, how much does he make this defense better? Because is he the JJ Watt of old? Is he the guy that can, change a whole game by himself? I think he's shown flashes of that the last couple of years, but he's been injured as well. So is he truly healthy? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. If he can stay healthy, I think we're about to see one of the best versions of JJ Watt that we could possibly see at this age and stage in his career. Because my man is going to be motivated. This is the first time he's been on a good team in a while. Yeah. I think he is going to come, and I just really want him to stay healthy because I think he's going to come out ripping people's heads off, and I am here for it.
I am too. I'll be honest with you. I really am. And what I love about JJ Drew is that he is a guy who, like, you sometimes wonder if a guy has a chip on his shoulder and, like, if you can actually see it play out on tape. With JJ, those questions are answered. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's coming for you. Right. So I do want to see that JJ. And if you get that guy, you can change this whole defense. I love that. Honestly, I think Zaven Collins will fit in nicely to this. The rookie Zaven Collins will fit in nicely to this defense. The back end looks pretty strong, Drew. The back four is definitely a strength of this team. And Deontay Thompson and Robert Alford are backups. DeQuise Denard is a backup. Marco Wilson, the rookie, is a backup. You saw what I'm saying? So in this league, you need good corners. They have that. The linebacking core is pretty good. The front, I do want more from the defensive tackle position, but the edges and the linebackers in the secondary, I'm kind of here for it. So what is the offense going to do? Again, that's what I need to know.
All right, well, let's look at the schedule. They got two interesting out-of-division games for me, and that's Browns Week 6 and Dallas Week 17, when them and Dallas can both be fighting for a playoff spot. I think that's going to be a great game. But like I said, for all arguments and purposes of their schedule, I got them splitting with division foes. I got them going 10-7.
Ooh, man. I have them going the flip-flop of that. I have them going 7-10. I have them going 7-10. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
I don't really see it for them, man. Like, maybe call me not a believer in Kyler. I don't know. How does that make you feel when I say 7-10? Like, what does that make you think? I'm curious.
I'm a skeptical believer in Kyler.
Okay.
Like, I think I'm trying to will him into succeeding, because he's got the weapons behind him and he's got the options. I want to see him do well, man. I want to see him because he's more fun. NFL is more fun to watch when Kyler and Arizona's winning games.
Yeah, I mean, he gave you the best play of the year last year, so yeah. You know, he's a lot of fun to watch. I just want him to be consistent. Like, if Kyler, like, whatever it is that he does best, I need this offense to be tailored around that so you can see him achieve his potential. Because, like, the inconsistency is what is frustrating to me. Like, he'll blow it up one week, and I don't care if he's run and pass. I just want consistency. That's it.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay, Shawn. Okay. All right.
7-10, man. That's what I got. 7-10.
Nah, I mean, this show's more fun when we don't agree. So, because I think they're gonna probably end up landing in the middle of what we both said. You know, like 8-9, 9-8. You know, like that's the thing about me and Shawn. With we're like Captain Planet. With our powers combined, we'll get these predictions somewhere close.
That's a great way to put it. That's a great way to put it. Which is why you come here. That's why you come here.
Exactly.
So,
all right, next up, we got the belle of the ball, the talk of the division in the offseason so far. We got the Los Angeles Rams. Went 10-6 last year, but made some moves. Yeah.
10-6, building on a good season. You know, building on a good season in the most dynamic way possible by changing out the most important position. You know,
they're like, Goff, you got to go.
Yeah, and shipped them to oblivion, like just the black hole of teams in the Detroit Lions. But it is what it is at this point. So on to the Rams, Drew. How'd you feel about their offseason, man? How'd you feel about their offseason and as a whole?
I mean, I think that they didn't do too much because they didn't need to do too much. You know what I mean? They made sure they re-signed Floyd. That was a good re-signing.
It was.
Brought in Morris for the defensive coordinator spot, after they lost their guy. I think they drafted to fill, just kind of for fun. They didn't really have a lot of spots they needed to fill. So they got Tutu Atwell with their first pick. Of course, they were too busy building their team. They didn't have a first-round pick, which sometimes isn't a bad thing.
Apparently the Rams have not had or don't have first-round picks for quite some time. So it's just,
what is it, 2025?
Something crazy like that. But I mean, you just spoke on Tutu Atwell, Drew. The general consensus on him is that was a huge reach in round 2, just because of how small he is. A lot of things surrounding him, like there's the draft community was pretty down on Tutu Atwell, even though he's a very dynamic receiver. So I think in that McVay offense, you already know what you're getting with him as far as that is concerned.
Yeah.
But other than that, like they got some good value. I thought like Ernest Jones was a good value pick for them. They needed a linebacker. And Jacob Harris, the TE, was also a good value pick. But my favorite pick from their draft, Bobby Brown, the guy out of Texas A&M. Yeah. Right. That I feel like that pick is going to be very good. And you're putting him in that defensive line room, Drew. So it's all there for him.
Who do they have in their defensive line?
That guy. They have that guy.
Oh. The man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah.
But like you said, Atwell, they're going to call on him to be the 5th option at wide receiver anyway. So what I mean? So let the man chill for a little bit because Deshaun Jackson isn't going to be there forever. Probably Robert Woods isn't going to be there forever. So, I mean, like, let him learn. Let him and Jefferson be the future,
Yeah. And that's the I guess if we talk about the offense, Drew, I had forgot that they even brought in Deshaun Jackson, and like I was kind of down on Deshaun Jackson, especially like his last year with the Bucs and then what he had done after that. But you're adding him into this offense as a wide receiver 3. Like that's what he is. He is wide receiver 3, doesn't need to be the one guy. My only concern about that is like bringing Deshaun Jackson in is taking snaps away from my guy Van Jefferson. So like,
yeah. But I mean, you got how many weeks is Jackson really going to play? Before he gets hurt. So it's fine. It's all going to be okay.
Yeah. So, but I think like right now the depth chart has Deshaun Jackson as wide receiver 3, but I think that's just based on name recognition alone. I honestly think Van Jefferson should be the guy there. So that's a check right here. We love the running backs. We love the receivers. You know what I'm saying?
Higbee.
Your boy Higbee. And like so the tight end room they is productive. Higbee had good production last year, I think, when he wasn't hurt or whatever.
They did lose Everett though. They did lose Gerald.
They did lose Everett, who is in the division. In the division. Wow. I mean, clearly, what did they think about Gerald Everett that they let him go to the division? I don't know about that.
They thought that Higbee was the guy and they didn't care.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But I think the underrated part, what I definitely have to mention is that the Rams' offensive line, though, they were solid in 2020, Drew, after a down 2019. And I want to say that they were pretty much ranked in, I can't remember if it was the top 10 or top 15. But as far as that, they might have been higher than that. But so they're building off that coming into this year with arguably a better quarterback. We'll see what happens. But
it's a better quarterback.
Yeah, it looks like.
We don't know how Stafford's going to play, but I can say he gives them a better chance than Jared Goff did.
I said that, but I wholeheartedly agree. I was trying to be unbiased here, but Matthew Stafford's a better quarterback.
What's going to happen when Stafford just comes in and just lays an egg and just is terrible?
Ooh, oh man. Jared Goff revenge tour is what's going to happen.
Right.
Oh,
you
man.
hear him cackling from Detroit.
Yeah, nah. Oh man, that would be horrible. But overall, the offense is pretty good. They're set to go, especially in that scheme. So, we got to talk about the defense, Drew. We got to do that.
It's the Ramsey Donald show. How's this supporting cast looking though?
See, and that's the crazy thing about it. So like I wrote down the front three and back four. I'm very high on. Obviously, you have complete erasers in Donald and Ramsey, so it's only 9 other positions that they really have to account for because they're well, it might be technically 8 because Donald gets double teamed all the time. You know what I'm saying? So like he gets double teamed all the time. But no, I love that they actually brought back Leonard Floyd because he has been resurgent since he has left Chicago. 10.5 sacks last year.
He's trying to win a Super Bowl, man. I love it.
I agree. But no, Shawn Robinson, that front four, bro, is good. The linebackers, as a whole, well, excuse me. Leonard Floyd, I'm not worried about. I think we just talked about that. But the other 3, I am worried about though, because there's no real guy there, which is why they drafted Ernest Jones. There's no real guy that's been taking that reins. One of the worst linebacking cores in the league last year, as graded by PFF. So, but in the front of the linebackers, I'll let you speak on. In the front of the linebackers and behind the linebackers, you have stout groups as a whole. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of hides what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? So, what you think, Drew?
I think they just need to hold tight. You know what I mean? They can definitely, if Stafford is going to be as advertised with his offense, I think they just got to bend and not break. You know what I mean? And I think with Donald and Ramsey on the field and Floyd on the field, they can do that easily. Yeah. And, obviously, I think every team needs to worry about the injury bug, but those guys have been solid. But I really love, like I said, I love the front 3. I love that back 4. Front 4. I'm including Leonard Floyd in that because he is really a part of that group. But I'm really worried about those other 3 linebacking spots. Yeah. But we'll see what happens, man. And they have pretty good depth too. They have okay depth at a couple spots. So they might need to rotation platoon some guys. They'll be all right. Yeah.
I just want to see, it's really good. This team is going to go as the offense goes. I think if Stafford comes in, does what he is supposed to do, they're going to ball out. You know what I'm saying? As advertised.
Well, I think they are going to. So let's look at that schedule. I think Stafford's going to come in wheeling it. I've been a Stafford fan. I was bummed he was stuck in Detroit,
sure.
So I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
I think, they lose the 3 games to the division, and then also win 3 games. But then I got them Tampa Bay, Baltimore, Tennessee. I feel like they lose 2 out of those 3. And I got them going 12-5.
Ooh, okay. I have them going 11-6. I got them going 11-6. Tying the San Francisco 49ers. That is going to make this thing very interesting. And Drew, I'll be honest with you, man. Really, a lot of these NFC teams that are playing hinges on what Green Bay is going to do. Because if Aaron Rodgers is playing, these are going to be a lot of losses for good and bad teams that you have to add into their schedule. You know what I'm saying? So, Green Bay hinges on a lot in this NFC picture, playoff picture, however you want to say it, man.
Yeah, until proven otherwise, I'm operating as if Aaron Rodgers is not going to be a Green Bay Packer.
It's hard. It's just hard to imagine, though.
Yeah. It's starting to look like I really can see him just not playing this year.
Yeah, and Drew, I gotta ask you, because I'm drawing a blank here too. When is the last time that a franchise quarterback sat out a year? Can you remember? I got nothing. Yeah, so I don't know, man.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, we're talking about all this chaos, and we haven't even talking about the defending champion of the league. We got the Seattle Seahawks. Went 12-4 last year. Did they? I felt like they went on a bigger little losing spree last year, but they really only lost 4 games.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. For as much drama as Russ had in the offseason, you would think that they went 7-9 or whatever it was.
They went 12-4. What are you mad at?
They went 12-4. Yeah, I don't know, man. But maybe I have to say, maybe Russ sees a little bit of writing on the wall here, and we'll get into it. We definitely will get into it. But they had 3 picks as far as the draft is concerned before Drew gets into the offseason, but they had 3 picks. And they for what it's worth, they made them count. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do like the Dwayne Eskridge picks. I love that pick. They went with a speedy CB and Trey Brown out of Oklahoma, and then Stone Forsythe, a developmental guy.
I love that name.
Love the name in the offensive tackle in the 6th. And honestly, Drew, the first 2 picks were really about beefing up that return game because both of those guys returned.
Yeah.
As far as that is concerned. So.
And Seattle loves to catch you off guard with special teams. They love it. Love it so much. Pete Carroll gets a little jingle, a little jig about him when he scores on special teams.
If you think about Pete Carroll's face, he looks like a guy who loves a good gadget play, doesn't he?
He's like, hey. We're gonna do the flea flicker.
Yep, I can see his face. I can see it. What'd you think? Go ahead.
They picked up your boy. They picked up Aldon Smith. Might be a little value pickup if he can turn some things around.
Yeah. Which is kind of crazy. Just a quick aside about Aldon Smith, but I saw today that it was on Pro Football Talk that Randy Gregory had said via some other article that Randy Gregory said that he felt like he missed a year because of the coach's favoritism to Aldon Smith last year in Dallas. So,
oh wow,
if that was the case, why would they let Aldon Smith go and go to a different team? So I thought that was a little odd, considering that Aldon Smith is now in Seattle. So
the pressure on Dallas to completely revamp a terrible, terrible defense.
I mean,
that's what
pressure.
I think it is.
It could make you do some. It could make you do some things. Like maybe they felt like they needed to shake the tree a little bit, and clearly they did.
Yeah, and we just talked about it. They did pick up tight end Everett, who was previously a Ram.
Yeah. Good pickup for them too, and I think Drew, you know this, like from Russ's early career, like we talk about a T being the quarterback's best friend, but like now they have a guy at that spot who can be very consistent since, Russ doesn't have a Jimmy Graham anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. So,
yeah. I think him and Will Dissly can get it done. You know what I mean? Still got Dissly at that second tight end spot.
Yeah. But I think adding somebody who can give you a little bit more than Dissly was the right move. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. Yeah. No, I wouldn't want to go into the season just with him. You know what I mean? Because they lost Vanett too, right? Isn't he a Steeler last year? Nick Vanett?
Yeah. I want to say he left. So Drew, what do you think is going to happen with this running back situation, though? I mean, like every year it looks like they're in a good position to have what they used to have in that running back room, and then injuries and underperformance happen. So what you got on it, man?
I mean, that was the problem last year, right? They had no variety on the offense. It came at the end of the game, you knew Russ was going to scramble and try to find a receiver so you could play for that. And it bit them multiple times. What I thought was multiple times, but apparently it was only 4 times. But I
felt like way more.
I would love to see. Right? I thought they were like 10-6 at best, but whatever. I would like to see them get the running game going again, because I want to see. I don't know about you, but I want to see DK Metcalf go off. I want to see him have a year. Yeah. And I don't think we can get that if they're not running the ball effectively.
That's very true. And I'll kind of go against that a bit. I think you can still get a year out of him, but I think we all want the year that he would have with an effective running game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what we want. Because, and we can't forget about Lockett. You add Eskridge to that. So the receivers, we know what we getting from Russ and the receivers. I like what Gerald Everett is going to bring to this
Lockett's Mr. Consistency, so they definitely get that.
Yeah. I mean, as far as that goes, now this is what it was. So it was the Rams offensive line who was actually pretty good, but this Seattle offensive line, and maybe this is what Russ was talking about, was about middle of the pack as far as what their rankings were in PFF. So
yeah, he was very upset about the offensive line.
Yeah. So, for what you are getting from the rest of the offense, I have to put a lot of onus on this offensive line to take this team where they need to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's what they want, the offensive line has got to be better. They got to be better.
I completely agree with you because, I mean, they've got Carson can go off if he's given time, Yeah. Russ can go off if he's given time. So, is Russ? Do they have the type of year from the offensive line for all of this Russ drama to go away?
Yeah, I mean, I hope, because the more time you give Russ, the more dynamic things he can make happen with this offense. And I think, like, in the end, if that's what you get, then this makes this potentially, like, a very, very balanced team. Kind of moving over to the defensive side.
They did re-sign Dunlap.
They did.
They still got Bobby Wagner.
Right.
Jamal Adams is Jamal Adams.
Right. Quandre Diggs. And
what do they
DJ
have
Reed,
after that?
So Quandre Diggs, I'm a Quandre Diggs guy. I love him.
Okay.
And DJ Reed typically does not fit the mold of a Pete Carroll cornerback, but he came in, did some things, and now he's in position to start. Opposite side, Ahkello Witherspoon, who I also like, Pierre Desir backing him up. So I like the secondary, obviously anchored by Jamal Adams, the All-Pro.
Yeah. Who's going to be all over the place again?
Yeah, he will, and it's another year in this defense too. So. What I do like, though, is they brought in, you mentioned earlier that they brought in Aldon Smith, and right now he is backing up. So he's not starting. So that bodes well for competition there,
Well, how do you feel about the schedule?
Man, the schedule. I'll be honest. Like, just looking at this team with that offensive line, I don't know what you're gonna get. With the defense, I'm not as high on them as a lot of people are, even though I just mentioned a lot of good things. To be honest, I'll break it down. Game 1 is very iffy versus Indy, and that's going to be the tail of the tape for me on how this team plays. Long story short, I have this team going 10-7, Drew. I have this team going 10-7. I
got 11-6.
Oh, okay. So not that far off.
Yeah, that Washington, Pitt, Tennessee, Indy, Minnesota. Those 5 games, I got them losing at least 3 of those.
Okay. All right. I think for me, I think their biggest stretch, like that Indy and Tennessee to start the season, because I just don't know, like, is the offensive line going to be able to hold up? Is there some leftover feelings that may come to surface once Russ gets on the field? I don't know, especially if they start losing. And I don't know. Like you mentioned earlier that there's like most of the schedules are pretty easy. They're easy in spurts, but they play some tough teams like all throughout. So I think there could be a lot of up and down, and that's what I'm seeing for Seattle this year more so than anything.
Well, break it down for me. What you got this division shaping up to be?
So, I mean, for me, I got the Niners and the Rams at a tie at 11-6, and the Seahawks backing them up at 10-7, and the Cardinals again bringing up the rear at 7-10. What you got?
All right, we're pretty close. I got Rams winning outright, and then I got Niners, Seahawks tying for second place, probably both going to the playoffs, and then little brother again until proven otherwise, the Arizona Cardinals. Who also, in my scenarios, could still make the playoffs.
Well, and that's what I'm wondering in my scenario with 2 teams at 11-6 and another at 10-7. That playoff picture in my scenario is going to be wild. Because, like, I'm wondering.
I can't wait for us to talk playoffs again because we got pretty close
NFC
last
teams
year.
Are doing. Yeah, we did. And that was not by accident, folks. It wasn't by accident.
We can't play fantasy football, but we can predict wins and losses, damn it.
Pretty good.
Well, next week we got the AFC West. We got the Raiders and the Chiefs and the Chargers and the Broncos. So hit that subscribe button. Make sure you get it when it comes out. Shawn, where can they find you on the internets?
At the Kid Suds on Twitter, at nickel_DomFB on Twitter as well. And don't forget to follow our IG page at nickel_DomFootball. Drew, what about you, bro?
Hit me up on Instagram at LaughWithHarrison. And as always, you can catch all this content and so much more at DrewHarrisonComedy.com. Share us with your friends. It's getting to be football season. We got some interesting things to talk about. And remember, be gearing up. We're going to bring back Your Team updates, so be ready to send in those videos telling us how you feel about your team. We'll see you next week.
Let's do it.